Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We'll get started. I was printing out your add-on real quick. Hasn't come across. I'll wait a second. All right, is everyone ready? I see some new names. I think are new to me anyway. Courtroom 2.
Yes, Judge, we're ready.
You're there? Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Segura.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. Whenever you're ready to start, we're going to start in courtroom 3, Judge.
Oh, 3, okay. Hold on 1 second. All right, we'll get started. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Regina Mincy, and we're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have been recently arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the case has been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will be the defendant's initial appearance before state court judge. We're able to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, or a possible plea offer if one has been made at this juncture by the state. Also be providing you with a reset date for SAP, and that date is October the 10th. SAP reset date is October the 10th.
It should be November the 10th, Judge.
Oh, we're
I'm
already
going back in time.
right.
Sorry about that.
It is almost the end of the year, November 10th. And you know what? As I said, October the 10th, obviously it didn't even click with me that we're way beyond that, November 10th. All right. I want to also begin by advising everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. I want to also let the defendants on this calendar know that you have certain constitutional rights. One being you have the right to an attorney representing you at this juncture, whether it is the PD's office or your private counsel, which you should know by now. You also have the constitutional right to remain silent. Anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, or occurrence of your case can and will be held against you. The solicitors are here listening. Govern yourselves accordingly and listen to your attorneys. All right, where are we beginning? Courtroom 3, did you all tell me?
Add on 1.
Oh, hold on a second. Add on 1. All right, we will start with add-on 1, case number 22 CR 7432D, Quentin Coleman. You're charged with 1 count of battery family violence. The offense date is October the 29th, 2022. Pre-trial,
He has 1 prior arrest from April 30th of 2021 for aggravated assault out of Tennessee. The case was no pros and nothing further.
all right, is he recommended?
He is not, because how recent the multi-state arrest is.
Okay. Send me a message in the chat if you can. Ms. Roberts.
I didn't
Are
see
you-
a message in the chat.
I'm sorry.
I didn't hear what you said, what you
Oh,
asked.
I was saying, can you send me your recommendations in the chat or an email?
Okay,
All right, thank you. All right, State,
Good afternoon, Judge.
good afternoon.
In this case, it occurred today at around 4 a.m. at 7731 Cabrini Place in Fairbairn. In this case, officers were called or dispatched at this instant location in reference to a fight call. Upon arrival, they spoke with the victim, a Miss Rachel Coleman. Rachel common spelling, Coleman common spelling. She stated that that the incident began earlier in the day with a verbal disagreement between the defendant, who is Miss Coleman's husband, and herself. In this case, the defendant was setting up a dinner for himself and Miss Coleman, but Miss Coleman decided to go home to plan a birthday party for their daughter. In this case, once Miss Coleman went home, she went to take a shower. After a while, the defendant came back home, went into the bathroom and into the shower and said, "You didn't see me," quote, "You didn't see me calling you." At that point, the Miss Coleman said that she did not have a phone on her, so she couldn't see the defendant calling her, in which at that point, the defendant called her, quote, "a bitch," and then left the bathroom. At that case, he locked the bedroom door, so when Miss Coleman finished showering, she couldn't actually enter the bedroom to dress herself. At some point, she was able to get a tool and get into the bedroom, but when she did so, the defendant punched her in the face, and then he left. Then she called the police and they arrived, and when they saw Miss Coleman, they noticed that she had cuts inside her mouth, and that was when that punch, in which case the defendant was arrested. Now, Your Honor, the state is recommending a $5,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, no further contact with Richard Coleman, and a stay away from this instant location. Our recommendations are based on these facts, and we are concerned that the defendant is a multi-state offender. As Keisha has noted, he was arrested for aggravated assault in 2021 in Virginia because of which was not passed, but he also was arrested for assault that based on our DCIC and past records, it says it was a family assault, which was not passed, but it was in 2021 as well. So he has 2 states in which he has recent history of arrest. And alongside, we're concerned that there's not a long enough cooling off period, as this case did occur just today at around 4 a.m. Thank you, Your Honor.
And so the parties are married, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, and who for the PD's office?
Good morning, Judge Kinsey Johnston on behalf of Mr. Coleman.
Okay,
I'd like to start off by pointing out that an accusation has not been filed in this case to my knowledge. Defense was only provided with the charge and summons document. So we would be making a probable cause challenge to this based on the fact that there hasn't been a factual basis provided from the officer to defense at this point in time. And we would also be asking for a signature bond based on that. Mr. Coleman is employed with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. He is a deputy. He has lived in the Atlanta area since January of this year. And I will also point out that both of the cases mentioned by opposing counsel, according to that were Mr. Coleman's arrest, those were both null prossed. He doesn't have any criminal history. So based on all of that, we would be asking for a signature bond.
Mr. Jordan, do we know, do we know anything about the accusation? Has it been filed?
It was filed, Judge. That's why I sent it out on the add-on calendar.
Right, so it has been filed, Ms. Johnson?
Okay, I didn't receive that. I had checked on Odyssey and I hadn't seen anything.
So the case number is 22 CR 007432D. They filed it right before I sent out the add-on calendar.
Okay, could the add-on calendar be sent to me and Miss Julia Hawley? We do not have it.
Okay,
We never received it. I also don't have the main calendar.
I'll send you both.
I don't either. Yeah, please send both.
I'm gonna hold for a second so you all can catch up with us. Sorry about that.
Judge, we'd still be arguing for a signature bond based on his lack of history. He is employed. Okay, I got the add-on calendar. I'm just waiting on the, oh, it sounds like it just came through. Okay, I have both calendars now. Thank you.
Great. And you, Ms. Holland? They're coming. I know it's a little.
I got both as well. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, I will go ahead and give Mr. Coleman a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order that he stay away from the incident location. And I believe, I'm not sure if I wrote it down correct, 711 Cabrini Place. Mr. Segura, did I?
I need to check. Should be,
Is it 7731?
yeah, 7731 Cabrini Place, Fairbairn.
Okay, 7731 Cabrini Place in Fairburn. He is to stay away from that incident location, and he's to have no further contact with the victim, Rachel Coleman. I don't know if he needs a one-time police escort to that location to retrieve
Yes.
personal items. Okay. We'll
Yes,
add
Judge,
that
would
to
ask for that.
Okay,
He also shares children with Miss Coleman.
all right. If there's to be any visitation with the children, it will be coordinated with a third party. And Mr. Coleman, since you can't have any contact with Ms. Coleman, if you are to be allowed visitation with the children, you'll have to use a third party to contact her and to arrange for visitation. You have to have no direct or indirect contact with her through third parties or any other means. No emails, no texts, no phone calls. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I guess I should say in this case, except for work, if Mr. Coleman is still going to be working, I assume he will have a weapon for his job possibly.
Yes, Judge, that's my understanding.
Only if it's for work. No weapons after work, casually or anything other than for your employment. And that's all I'm going to order at this time. I'm not going to order the anger awareness course at this time. I'll hold on that. Anything else, counsel?
No,
Yeah,
Your
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, Judge. We're starting in, also going back to courtroom 2, position 4, Golden. Okay, yeah.
All right, this is case number 22 CR 007422F, Romano Goldston. You're charged at 1 count of loitering or prowling. The offense date is October 28th, 2022. Pre-trial.
Yes, 21 cycles, 20 out of Florida, 1 out of Georgia. Last arrest was from 2010 for cruelty out of Barrow County. That case was amended to reckless conduct and it was a conviction. Out of Florida, he has a 2007 trespassing conviction, another 2007 trespassing conviction, a 2005 petty theft conviction, 2005, another petty theft. Yeah. Nothing further to add. He is recommended.
Okay. And for the Solicitor General's office, is this your case, Mr. Segura?
It is.
Okay, you may proceed.
This case occurred yesterday, October the 28th.
Was like vacuuming or a video? Not sure.
Mr. Segura, that's coming from your laptop or your computer. So I muted you. Yes, I muted you.
Yeah, my laptop's kind of heating up, so
Uh-oh. Sounds like it's going to fall apart. I don't know. And I would not dare talk about Fulton County. That's a county issued laptop. It may be on the last leg. They may need to upgrade you, Mr. Segura. Let's see if we can do it. I don't know if we can hear you. Wow.
can you hear me?
Yeah, but the background noise may be taking over. Sounds like the more you talk, the worse it gets. It may be overheating or something.
Yeah.
Mr. Segura, do you have AirPod headphones or any type of headphones? Sometimes that can break up that noise if you do.
Background noise, okay, yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if I can try connecting with this laptop and see how that goes. Let me just mute it.
Okay.
Okay, can we go to another case then, please? Thank you.
But I don't know if it'll be Mr. Segura's case. So let me see what numbers he has.
Your Honor, this is ASG Anderson. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
My cases are position 6 through the remaining of the calendar.
Okay,
6 and beyond.
so
Did
he's
you
one.
hear that courtroom 2?
I got it. I'm on it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a seat, Golden. We're gonna go with position number 12, Circuit. Come on, Circuit.
All right. This is case number 22CR007429F, Eddie James Circuit. You're charged with 1 count of theft by shoplifting. The offense date is October the 28th, 2022. Pre-trial.
3 cycles, last arrest 2017 for criminal trespass and disorderly conduct. Well, it was criminal trespass. It was amended to disorderly conduct and it was a conviction in 2017. A total of 3 cycles and nothing further. He's recommended.
All right. All right, ASG Anderson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mr. Circuit, in Mr. Circuit's case on yesterday at about 9:30 a.m., Georgia State Police Officer Hakeem Floyd was stopped by another officer, Gary Spigaldi, SBALDIGI, who is an off-duty officer working a security detail at Walgreens, located at 25 Peachtree Street. in Fulton County, who stated that he caught Mr. Circuit taking possession of and attempting to leave with various items, including toothpastes, some tooth whitening, body armor, juice, M&Ms, and other snacks. Walgreens was able to provide a receipt for the value of the items which Mr. Circuit, took possession of, and that total came to, with tax, $227.66. The bond recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond, and to stay away from the Walgreens at 25 Peachtree Street in Atlanta, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Okay. All right.
Good morning, Judge.
Okay.
Mr. Circuit is 35 years old. He does live with his mother and take care of her. She is 67. He's not currently working, so I'm not sure if he would be able to pay a surety bond. In addition, he does not have a lengthy criminal history. We would request that he be given a signature bond through pretrial services so that he can go back and continue to take care of his mother while he goes forward with this charge.
Okay. I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order stay away from the Walgreens at 25 Peachtree Street. And I don't think, did I hear a request for a no further contact with the victim or not, or I guess that would probably be a witness or officer, or just staying away from the Walgreens?
The latter, Your Honor, just staying away from that store entirely.
And he
Okay.
doesn't have a problem with the stay away order, Your Honor.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll see him since he was off duty. But I'll throw in no further contact with the officer. Just in case. And obviously, Mr. Circuit, do not go back to the Walgreens for any circumstances, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that should conclude the ruling on this case.
Next, position 13, Tover.
And Mr. Tovar does need the Spanish interpreter.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm fine. This is Adriana Chansey, court interpreter.
All right. I'll call the case and then I'll swear you in. This is case number 22 CR 007430D, Arturo Tovar. You're charged with 1 count of striking unattended vehicle and DUI under the influence of alcohol as safe. Offense date 10/28/2022.
Este es el caso 22 CR00430D, señor Arturo Tovar, por un cargo de golpear un vehículo estacionado. Segundo cargo, por manejar incapacitado bajo los efectos del alcohol, y el día del delito es el 28 de octubre del 2022.
All right, raise your right hand for me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you solemnly affirm that you will faithfully interpret from English to Spanish and Spanish to English the proceedings before this court in an accurate manner, with no embellishments and to the best of your skill and knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
All right, thank you. Pre-trial?
La persona de servicios previos al juicio.
Yeah, 6 cycles out of Georgia and 2 cycles out of Illinois.
Hay 2 casos en Georgia previos y 2 del estado de Illinois.
He has a 2015 conviction for no license on person.
Tiene las cargos del 2015 por no llevar la licencia de conducir.
Another 2015 conviction for expired license.
Y otra por licencia de conducir vencida.
A 2005 conviction for 2 counts of affray.
For what, madam? I'm sorry.
Affray, fighting.
Oh, thank you. Y otro cargo del año 2005 por una disputa física.
A DUI conviction in 2004.
y en el 2004 otra sentencia por manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol.
And those were all out of Georgia
Esos ocurrieron en el estado de Georgia,
and nothing further.
nada más.
All right.
Your Honor, yesterday, October 28th, Roswell Police Officer West, W-U-E-S-T, responded to.
Hold on 1 second. They're gonna have to probably go a lot slower.
Okay, thank you.
Chop it up a little bit for her.
Okay.
Ayer, el 28 de octubre, en Roswell, el oficial de policía West
Responded to 1112 Wood Creek Trail.
respondió al domicilio 1112 Wood Creek Trail.
Correct. And that's at the Wood Creek Apartments
En los departamentos Wood Creek,
in reference to a hit and run.
debido a un evento de chocar y huir.
The caller is Yusef Bulls, spelled Y-O-U-S-S-E-F, last name Bulls, B-O-U-L-E-S.
La persona que llamaba lleva el nombre de Yusuf Bowles.
Stated that he was awoken from sleep by the sound of a car crash.
Declaró que él se despertó por el sonido de un golpe de choque de vehículos.
Mr. Bulls saw that his car was hit
Él vio que su carro había sido golpeado
and pushed into another neighbor's car.
y fue empujado en contra de otro vehículo de otro vecino.
That other neighbor is Ronald Anthony, common spelling.
El nombre es Ronald Anthony Spelling.
A third neighbor provided security video to the officers.
Y hubo un tercer vecino que proveyó al oficial un video.
The officer watched the video
El oficial vio el video
and saw a white pickup truck with a toolbox in the bed.
Vio que había una troca blanca con una caja de herramientas en la caja de la camioneta.
The truck also had a chrome rear passenger door.
Y también el vehículo tenía una puerta de cromo en la parte del pasajero.
And silver wheels.
Y las ruedas eran plateadas.
This vehicle was observed hitting Mr. Bull's vehicle and then leaving the area.
Se observó que dicho vehículo golpeó el vehículo del señor Bowles y después huyó.
Officer West started driving around the apartment complex.
El oficial West entonces empezó a merodear el área de los departamentos.
And he saw this same white truck
y vio a la misma camioneta
turning, driving, and eventually parking in the same apartment complex.
La vio dar vuelta, continuar manejando y eventualmente estacionándose en la misma área de apartamentos.
Upon approaching the truck, Officer Wuez saw Mr. Tovar looking through his glove box.
Se acercó el oficial y vio al acercarse que el señor Tovar estaba buscando algo en la guantera.
Upon conversing,
I'm sorry, en la caja de herramientas. Thank you.
Upon conversing with Mr. Tovar, the officer immediately smelled the strong odor of alcohol.
Inmediatamente después de empezar a conversar con el señor Tovar, el oficial pudo oler un fuerte olor a alcohol, aliento a alcohol.
Mr. Tovar's speech was slurred and he was unstable, having to lean on his truck.
La manera de hablar del señor Tovar era balbuceando y tenía que él apoyarse para mantener su equilibrio en la camioneta.
He denied hitting any cars in the complex
Él negó haber golpeado ningún vehículo en el complejo de apartamentos
and stated that the damage to the front end of his own truck was from a previous accident.
y declaró que el daño observado en la parte del frente de su camioneta había sido causado por un accidente anterior.
An empty Bud Light bottle
Había una botella abierta de Bud Light
and empty 40-ounce of Corona
y una botella abierta de 40 onzas de la cerveza Corona
was found in Mr. Tovar's truck.
se encontraron dentro de la camioneta del señor Tovar.
The officer read implied consent twice to Mr. Tovar,
El oficial le leyó el consentimiento explícito 2 veces al señor Tovar.
Mr. Tovar did not respond, which the officer deemed a refusal.
Y el señor Tovar no respondió a pesar de la repetición que el oficial realizó de la declaración del consentimiento explícito.
Your Honor, that 2015 no license guilty conviction
La sentencia o declaración de culpabilidad ante el cargo de manejar sin licencia del 2015
was amended from a driving without a license arrest charge.
Okay.
tuvo una enmienda por un cargo primario de manejar sin licencia.
The state recommends
La fiscalía recomienda
a $4,000 surety bond
una multa de $4,000. Esta multa es una fianza, bajo garantía.
no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond,
Queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
no driving while on bond,
Queda prohibido manejar mientras esté bajo fianza
and a stay away from that location, the apartment complex.
y mantenerse alejado de la localidad de los apartamentos.
Your Honor, I'm uncertain if Mr. Tovar lives at that address or not. Maybe the PD can shed some light on
I
that.
was gonna ask, do you have the name of the apartment complex?
The Wood Creek Apartments, I think.
Wood Creek Apartments.
La fiscal dijo, no estoy segura si el acusado vive o no en ese lugar, pero creo que el delegado podrá clarificarlo para usted.
And then give me the breakdown on the bond recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor, that's a $4,000 surety bond. No alcohol, sorry, I apologize.
$4,000 de multa bajo garantía, fianza bajo garantía.
No alcohol, drugs, weapons, or driving.
I
Wow.
was asking about the breakdown. I had 2 charges.
Oh, I apologize, Your Honor. They are to run concurrent, the same requirements for both charges, Your Honor.
So are you saying 4,000 on each, which would be a total of 8? Or are you saying 3 and 1?
That 3 and 1, thank you, Your Honor, the latter.
Okay.
Se clarificó cuál era en detalle el total. El total es de $4,000 para salir bajo fianza de garantía, quedando prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y manejar un vehículo, y estas sentencias se cumplirán de manera concurrente. Sería dividido para el primer cargo $3,000 de fianza y para el segundo cargo $1,000 de fianza, llegando a un total de $4,000 de fianza bajo garantía.
All right. Ms. Holly?
Señora
Yes,
Holly.
Judge. First, Señor Tovar, ¿vives allí en los Wood Creek Apartments?
No.
No, okay.
Sir, do you live in the
Hermano.
Wood Creek Apartments, sir? The answer was no, Your Honor.
All right, good, thank you.
I just wanted to clarify that before I went forward.
Quería
Mr.
aclarar eso antes que continuáramos.
Mr. Garcia Tovar is 42 years old and he lives in Roswell.
El señor tiene 42 años y vive en la ciudad de Roswell.
He lives with his wife and his 3 children who are 15, 14, and 13, and he supports them.
Él vive con su esposa y sus 3 hijos de 15, 14 y 13 años, a los cuales mantiene.
He has a long term of living here. He has worked at the Villas de Mirasol apartments for 7 years as a maintenance worker.
Villas de Mirasol.
Villas
Está-
de Mirasol, sí.
Okay, thank you. Él ha permanecido residiendo aquí por un largo tiempo y él ha trabajado por 7 años en el lugar llamado Villas de Mirasol.
His criminal history, the driving without a license, is a driving offense. I would argue that he doesn't have any recent criminal history. His last criminal arrest was 2005.
La ofensa de manejar sin licencia ya ha sido finalizada. Él tiene una desde el 2005, del año 2005, pero no existen otros cargos penales aparte de ese.
Considering his work history and the fact that he supports his family, I would request that he be given a signature bond and that he be able to drive while on this bond so that he can continue his job.
Debido a el historial de trabajo y también el hecho de que él está manteniendo a su familia, solicito para él una fianza bajo firma y también quisiera pedir sobre la prohibición de manejar sin licencia debido a que él tiene su trabajo para poder mantenerse.
All right. I don't know if I heard history-wise of other, I think no license on the person.
Debido al historial de no llevar su licencia consigo.
He also had a DUI, Your Honor, with an arrest date of September 24th, 2003, and that was a guilty conviction.
También tiene otra convicción por manejar sin licencia el 24 de septiembre del 2003, a lo que se declaró culpable.
All right, I will give him a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Le otorgo una fianza bajo firma de $4,000 a través de los servicios previos al juicio.
That will be $1,000 on the striking of the unattended vehicle, $3,000 on the DUI.
Eso va a ser $1,000 por golpear a un vehículo estacionado y $3,000 por manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol.
And I will order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
También ordeno que quede prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras él esté libre bajo fianza.
I will also order a stay away from the Wood Creek apartments.
También ordeno que él se mantenga alejado de los apartamentos Wood Creek.
Let me ask this, if he is a maintenance worker in the other apartment complex, I don't know if he resides in that complex and wouldn't have to drive. Can we clear that up, Ms. Holly? Or can
Podemos aclarar que si él, ¿cómo haría si él es un trabajador de mantenimiento del otro complejo de departamentos? Si él tendría que manejar o no, podemos aclarar.
Where he lives is not the same apartment complex where he works, so he does need to drive to and from work.
Él vive en un complejo de departamentos que no es el mismo en donde él trabaja, por eso él necesitará conducir para llegar a su trabajo.
Well, I'm afraid, with the second DUI, I don't want him to hurt or kill anybody or to kill himself at that point if we are, back on the second allegation. And I normally say that they can't drive unless they have a valid license or either are restricted or
One moment, please,
in
Your Honor.
hospital and to see their attorney.
Me temo que con una segunda sentencia por el manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol, no quiero que salga y maneje a matar y mate a alguien. Por eso siempre yo pido que si va a manejar sea a específicos lugares como al doctor, a su abogado, etcétera.
I'm inclined to say no driving while on bond for now. And he can have others to drive him around or to get Ubers or cabs or ride shares.
Yo me inclino a que él no maneje mientras esté libre bajo fianza, que consiga a alguien que lo lleve o maneje por Uber o taxi, cosas así.
So that's what I'll do for now.
Eso es lo que yo haré ahora.
And I think if there's nothing else, that will be the order of the court.
Y si eso es todo, esta es la orden de este tribunal.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right.
Nada por la fiscalía.
Nothing further. Thank you, Judge.
Nada
you.
más. Gracias, su señoría.
I have the other Spanish interpreter case, position 2, Alvarez.
Okay.
Tengo la otra, caso número 2, Álvarez Romero.
All right, this is case number 22 CR 0074248.
Este es el caso 22CR 007-424H.
This is State versus Joel Alvarez Romero.
Esta es la fiscalía en contra de Joel Álvarez Romero.
Charged with one count of discharge of firearm on or near public highway or street.
El primer cargo es de disparo de arma de fuego cerca de autopista o calle.
Reckless conduct.
Conducta negligente.
And carrying a weapon or long gun in unauthorized locations.
Y el tercero es por portar arma o arma larga en áreas desautorizadas de su uso.
All with the offense date of October the 28th, 2022.
La fecha del delito es 28 de octubre del 2022.
All right. Hold on one second.
Un segundo, por favor.
So, Mr. Jordan, on our previous case with Mr. Torres, and hold on a second, I want to go back. Mr. Tovar, I believe it is.
El caso anterior del señor Tovar.
And Miss Holly, if he gets a ALS through DDS, then he would have a valid license to be able to drive.
Si él consiguiera un permiso, ¿podría él manejar a través del Departamento de Transporte?
That would be my understanding, yes.
Eso es lo que yo entiendo, sí.
Okay, and then if he does, then the driving would be restricted to work, to see his attorney, and for medical services, those three only.
Limited driving if he can get the license.
Right.
Si él puede obtener ese permiso para conducir un vehículo, habrán restricciones, se limitará su manejo de su casa al trabajo, a visitas con su abogado o por razones médicas.
And I apologize for going back, but reminded of that.
Discúlpenme que volví hacia atrás con el caso, pero me acabo de acordar de eso.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Gracias, señoría.
All right. Now we'll go back to position 2, Mr. Alvarez Romero.
Volvemos a la posición 2, Álvarez Romero.
All right. Pre-trial.
Por favor, los servicios anteriores al juicio.
Yes, 3 cycles,
Hay 3 ciclos,
2 out of Georgia, 1 out of Arizona.
2 en el estado de Georgia y 1 en el estado de Arizona.
Last arrest, October 14th of this year for criminal trespass in East Point.
El 14 de octubre por entrada ilícita con fines delictivos. I'm sorry, what city, ma'am?
East Point.
Thank you. En la ciudad de East Point.
The case appears to be open.
Parece que el caso continúa abierto
He has 1 conviction out of Arizona from 2013.
y tiene una sentencia del 2013 en el estado de Arizona.
And that is for alien inadmissibility under Section 212.
Por inadmisibilidad de estatus del 212.
Manufacturing, distributing, or dispersing of any controlled substance.
Por posible control y distribución de sustancias reguladas.
And 2 counts of entry of alien at improper time or place.
Y por 2 cargos de 2 grados, perdón, de entrada ilegal.
And
Can
nothing
you
further.
repeat the last charge, please, madam?
2 counts
Entries.
of entry of alien at improper time or place.
Por entrada inapropiada o desautorizada en 2 diferentes oportunidades.
That was in 2013 and nothing further.
Eso ocurrió en el 2013 y eso es todo.
All right. Mr. Segura.
Señor Segura,
This case occurred yesterday, October 28, 2022,
esto ocurrió ayer, el 28 de octubre del 2022,
at 461 North Central Avenue, Hapeville.
esto ocurrió en el 461 North Central Avenue en Hapeville.
An officer was walking an expert job at this instant location
Un oficial entró en esta localidad, en este lugar,
when an officer heard 2 gunshots close to her patrol vehicle.
Él escuchó 2 disparos cuando entró. I'm sorry, Mr. Segura, did he go back to the patrol vehicle?
No, the officer heard 2 gunshots close to her patrol vehicle.
Close. Estos disparos se escucharon cerca de la patrulla de policía.
When she observed the defendant,
Cuando observó al acusado,
when the officer initiated a stop,
inició una detención.
she found that the defendant had a pistol.
Ella vio que el acusado tenía una pistola.
When she asked if he fired the gun, he said that he did.
Cuando ella le preguntó si él había disparado a la pistola, él dijo que sí.
Because of this, we're asking the following:
Debido a esto, pedimos lo siguiente.
a $5,000 cash bond,
Le pedimos una fianza en efectivo de $5,000,
that'd be $2,000 for the discharge, 2,000 for the reckless conduct, and 1,000 for carrying.
Pedimos $2,000 por el disparo del arma de fuego, $2,000 por la conducta negligente y los $1,000 restantes por la aportación del arma,
With the conditions of no alcohol, drugs, and weapons.
con la condición que quede prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas durante el periodo de libertad bajo fianza.
And a stay away from the incident location.
Y que se mantenga alejado del lugar del incidente.
Your Honor, the state is concerned that the defendant is a flight risk.
Su señoría, la fiscalía tiene la preocupación de que el acusado huya.
That he is a Mexican citizen.
Él es un ciudadano mexicano.
And he was arrested previously for having illegal entry to this country.
Y él ha sido ya arrestado con anterioridad debido a su entrada ilegal en este país.
And the officer noted that because of his documented status, that he is prohibited from possessing a gun.
Y el oficial observó que debido a su estado aquí, él tiene prohibido el uso de armas.
Your Honor, we're deeply concerned as this is a gun case.
Entonces esto es un caso relacionado con armas.
The defendant fired 2 gunshots.
Y el acusado hizo 2 disparos.
He admitted to firing those 2 gunshots.
Y él admitió hacer esos 2 disparos.
Based on what we have, we are uncertain as to how he acquired this weapon.
I'm sorry, the interpreter needs repetition with that last statement. Mr. Segura, I apologize.
At this point, based on our information, it is unknown how the defendant got this gun.
Hasta este punto, la fiscalía desconoce la manera en que este acusado obtuvo esa arma.
And he was not supposed to possess this gun.
Judge, at this
Porque él no
point, I'm gonna
estaba supuesto a obtener esta arma. I'm sorry, madam. Go ahead, please.
Yeah,
Judge, at this point, I'm gonna object.
En este momento yo voy a dar mi objeción.
We're not here to litigate the case currently. We have the basic facts.
Nosotros no estamos aquí para litigar este caso,
Agree.
sino para presentar los hechos básicos del
Yeah.
These are
caso.
still allegations, and I would
Esas-
ask for Mr. Sigurd to end his argument so that we can deal with the bond.
Honor,
Y estos son alegatos y solamente que quisiera pedirle al señor Segura que nos tratemos el caso sobre la fianza solamente.
yes, hold on, Mr. Segura. I agree. I think we're repeating a lot. We do have the facts and I'm clear on them. And
Sí, creo, estoy de acuerdo, estamos repitiendo todo, tenemos los hechos.
if you could move along and you've given me your bond recommendations.
Sí, sí, por favor puede continuar y me da información sobre la fianza.
So let me make sure I'm clear on that. You said an $8,000 cash
Déjeme aclarar, usted dijo $8,000 de multa en efectivo.
No,
it's was it 5,000 on the first charge?
5,000 total.
Es 5,000 en total,
Split 2, 2, and 1.
sería
2,000,
2,000, 2,000 y 1,000.
All right. So $5,000 cash, 2, 2, and 1. Okay. All right. If you have no other additional facts for us, Mrs. Segura, I'd like to move on to the public defender's office.
That'd be all.
All
Si
right.
no tiene más información que presentar, señor Segura, quisiera que continuara la parte de la defensa. Eso es todo, su señoría.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Romero is 37 years old, and he's lived in East Point for the last 4 years.
Sí, su señoría, el señor Álvarez Romero tiene 37 años y ha vivido hace 4 años en la ciudad de East Point.
He has worked as a construction worker and does continue to work as a construction worker in that area.
Él ha trabajado en la construcción y continúa trabajando en la construcción en el área.
He does support his family who do reside in Mexico, and he has been working the same job for a long time.
Él mantiene a su familia que reside en México y la ha mantenido por un tiempo ya.
I don't believe he's a flight risk based on his ties to the community of East Point.
Yo no creo que él sea una amenaza de huida debido a las conexiones de familiares o sociales que tiene en la ciudad de East Point.
And while I do understand the severity of the charges, his criminal history is rather short, and his only serious charge is from 2013, which is nearly 10 years ago.
Y a pesar de la severidad que representan los cargos, él tiene un antecedentes penal, una historia de antecedentes penales muy corta, la que quedó en su récord del 2013, que ya se han cumplido 10 años.
Further, I believe that he would not be able to afford a cash bond, certainly not a $5,000 one.
Yo creo que él no va a poder pagar una fianza en efectivo, mucho menos por el monto de $5,000.
We would ask for a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services.
Y solicito de su parte que se le otorgue una fianza bajo firma de $5,000 a través de los servicios previos al juicio.
All right.
Muy bien.
Well, these are serious charges.
Estos son cargos serios.
I am concerned
Me preocupa
whether Mr. Alvarez Romero, although you're stating he's been in East Point working for 4 years, if that's a long enough contact to make sure that he will return to court.
Que el señor, como usted declaró que hace 4 años que él ha trabajado, ha residido en la ciudad de East Point, no estoy segura que ese es un periodo de tiempo seguro para que él permanezca ahí.
I'm not going to give him a signature bond.
No le daré una fianza bajo firma. Excuse me, Your Honor, did you say I'm not?
Right, I said I'm not.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to give him a $5,000 cash bond.
Le otorgo $5,000 de fianza bajo, perdón, en efectivo.
With $2,000 on the first charge, which is the discharge of the firearm.
$2,000 por el primer cargo de disparo de arma de fuego.
$2,000 on the reckless.
$2,000 por el cargo de conducta negligente.
And $1,000 on the carrying the weapon.
Y $1,000 por el cargo de tenencia o portar un arma.
That's a total of $5,000 cash.
$5,000 en total, en efectivo.
And I'm going to order a stay away from the incident location of that area of 461 North Central Avenue in Hakeville.
Y yo le ordeno que se mantenga alejado del lugar o la dirección 461 North Central Avenue en Hakeville.
No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras él esté libre bajo fianza.
Which means no guns in his possession.
Lo que implica queda prohibido la tenencia o portación de armas.
And if he has any additional guns, he needs to turn them over to law enforcement.
Y si él posee otras armas adicionales, él debe entregárselas a las autoridades de la fuerza del orden.
All right, and that will conclude my order.
Y eso concluye mi orden.
Anything else, council?
¿Algo
No,
más, licenciada? No, su señoría.
Alvarez, Benito. Position 4, Golston. Come on, Mr. Golston. Come on.
All right, we'll go back to this position, which is 22 CR 007422F. Romano Goldston, charged with loitering or prowling, offense date 10/28/2022. Hold for 1 second. Madam Interpreter, do you have any more cases?
Your Honor, I was announced there were 3 cases, but I only reviewed these 2. I don't know if there is an additional one.
I can clarify that. Mr.
Okay.
Efra Mendoza
Uh-huh.
speaks English. I spoke with him this morning and he doesn't need an interpreter.
All
Okay.
right.
All right.
Will he be able to understand all this
Yes,
process?
definitely.
All right. Thank you so much
All
for
right,
that.
thank you. Have a good
Thank
afternoon.
you
We'll
too,
see.
Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, on Mr. Goldston, pre-trial had started, I think, saying we had 21 cycles, 20 in Florida, 1 in Georgia. Pre-trial?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and I don't know if you got much further than that, did we?
Yes, I completed the history, but I can go back through.
Okay, if you don't mind.
Last arrest was in 2010 for cruelty to children in Barrow County. That resulted in a reckless conduct conviction in 2012. Had a 2007 conviction out of Florida for trespassing. Another 2007 conviction out of Florida for trespassing. A theft conviction out of Florida from 2005. And then another theft conviction from 2005 out of Florida. And nothing further.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Segura?
This occurred on October the 28th, 2022 at the instant location of 807 Monroe Drive, Northeast Atlanta. In this case, police got a call from the victim and Mr. William Boringa. The last name is spelled V-E-R-I-N-G-A, who said that he had video footage of the suspect placing his hands on the window of his residence, peeping inside, and attempting to make entry into his home, attempting to lift the window. But the window was locked, so the suspect was unable to enter. In this case, the officer was ended up finding the defendant who still wore the same clothes as in that footage and arrested him. Our conditions is a $5,000 surety bond, not alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and a stay away from the incident location. Our main concern is that we actually spoke to the victim and Mr. Boringa not that long ago, in which he stated that he does not know the defendant. And the day previous to this incident, on the 27th, he was sleeping in his bedroom and forgot to lock his front door. In that case, he woke up to see the defendant entering his bedroom, at which point he stated the defendant withdrew his cabinets in the kitchen, took his work laptop, and used his bathroom. At that point, it was only on the 28th was when he was at work that neighbors alerted him that the defendant was back in his residence, attempting to get in through that window, and that's where the video footage that came in. So because of this fact, that is our basis of the surety bond. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Johnston, or Ms. Holly, I'm sorry.
No, it's my case, Judge, Ms. Johnston.
Okay,
Judge, I was not able to get too much information on Mr. Goldson, and that is because I believe him to suffer from mental health problems. I want to point out that he does qualify. I know he would struggle to make any kind of bond, any cash bond in this case, or a surety bond, and we would be asking for a signature bond based on the fact that he does qualify. And I know that he does suffer from mental health problems, but I do not have any details on that and did have some problems communicating with Mr. Goldson.
All right, I would like.
Sorry, Judge.
Go ahead.
Just to add one more thing, I do know that the income he receives is through disability, but that's the only income information I was able to obtain from him.
Okay. I want to order MHET. And so, Ms. Johnson, if you could send me an order for that, so that I can sign that order so that he can be evaluated. And hopefully evaluated before he obviously is released. At the moment, I'm going to enter the $4,000 surety bond and make sure he gets an MHET. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And a stay away from the incident location. And I did not write that address down, Mr. Segura.
It is 807 Monroe Drive, Northeast Atlanta.
Okay. All right, and I think that will conclude anything unless council has anything else they want me to take up.
Come on, Mr. Sims.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Position 8, Sims.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Christopher Sims. My name is Owen Lynch from the, I'm appointed here to represent Mr. Sims on a conflict basis.
Okay. All right, this is case number 22 CR 007431A. Christopher Sims, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, 1 count of pointing or aiming a gun or pistol at another, and a 3rd count of battery, substantial physical harm, all with the offense date of June 24th, 2021. Pre-trial.
Give me 1 second. He was in felony first appearance, so I have to get the file from my coworker unless.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, Ms. Roberts, Your Honor, I got a note that this is a felony, so that's the only actual information I have on Mr. Sims, is that this is a felony.
So it's being transferred?
That's my understanding. I sent an email seeking additional clarity, Your Honor, but the email that I did receive so far, the only note actually that I received is that this is not going to be charged as a misdemeanor.
You're going to prepare a transfer order?
With your permission, Your Honor, I need to find out the details on what's happening with that and how to complete that.
All right. Mr. Lynch, usually sometimes when they do that, I get it, at the same time with the calendar, since I haven't got anything. And Miss Anderson is probably emailing and checking on that as we're speaking. Let's hold for a second, because if they're transferring, I'll just sign the order to transfer. So
Thank
that
you, Your Honor.
Monday he will be on that calendar.
That's understood, Your Honor.
Right, let's hold for a second. Deputy, can we take a different case?
Yes, position 5, Johnson.
Okay. This is 22CR007423C. Oscar Johnson, you're charged with 1 count of battery. The offense date is October 28, 2022. Pre-trial.
Yes, 25 cycles, 4 out of Georgia, 4 out of Tennessee, 2 out of Florida, 1 out of Washington, 7 out of Texas, 5 out of Illinois, and 2 out of Nevada. Last arrest was July 22nd of this year for a DUI out of Gwinnett County. That case does not have a disposition. It appears to be open. He has a 2018 conviction for disorderly conduct. That's out of Georgia. He has a 2003 conviction out of Illinois for domestic battery. A 2011 conviction out of Texas for assault. And I believe that is all, Judge. Nothing further.
Okay. Mr. Segura,
I'm sorry, he did.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
go ahead, Ms.
He
Roberts.
had one other conviction from, this is out of Tennessee from 2005, and it is for resisting official detention, evading arrest, and disorderly conduct in public intoxication. And now it's nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Segura.
This occurred on October the 28th, 2022, at the incident location of 160 Ted Turner Drive, Atlanta. In this case, the victim, a Mr. Chester Stone, Chester, Chester Stone, common spelling, said that he was sitting in front of the incident location when he was on his phone. That's when the defendant approached him. As Mr. Stone stated, he said that the defendant was drunk and that Mr. Stone did not talk to the defendant. At that point, the defendant began to attack Mr. Stone, and at which point the officer who was in this case witnessed Mr. Stone restrained to the ground with the defendant punching him with his fist. At that point, the defendant was arrested, and the officer asked the victim, Mr. Stone, if he was okay. At this point, because of the facts alleged, the state is recommending a $5,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, no further contact with Chester Stone, and a stay away from the 160 Ted Turner Drive, Atlanta address. Our concerns relate to the danger of the community as the victim was attacked unprovoked. There is no known relationship between the defendant and the victim, so we're exactly uncertain as to whether or not the defendant, if he is out on bond, will attack someone else at a random. And we're concerned that the lack of community ties, as the defendant has, besides his 4 arrests in Georgia, he has 4 arrests in Tennessee, 7 in Texas, 2 in Nevada, 5 in Illinois, and 1 in Washington. And his most recent arrest was in 2017 in Nevada, as well as in 2013 in Texas for evading arrest. Because of this, we're asking for the surety bond. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Johnston.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Johnson has lived in the Atlanta area for about 6 years now. He usually works in home improvement, but in August of this year, he was hit head on by a car and has since been unable to work, unable to make any income, and is still dealing with the injuries from that accident financially and emotionally and physically. He originally moved back to the Atlanta area to take care of his family because his mother passed away. He does not have any money right now to pay a bond due to the fact that he is out of work and has no income to provide in order to make a surety bond. And because of that, we would be asking for a signature bond. Mr. Johnson also asserts that he was only acting in self-defense at this incident and that he was provoked by Mr. Stone, the alleged victim.
All right. I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Chester Stone. I'm going to order stay away from 160 Ted Turner Drive and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. That should conclude this case.
You're done. Ms. Johnson. Position 7, Mendoza. No, we got a good bond. Good bond. I'll tell you later.
All right, this is 22 CR 007425H. Is it Efren Mendoza? You charge of 1 count of battery, family violence, offense date 7/21/2022. Pre-trial?
I'm showing 8 cycles, 6 out of Georgia, 2 with ICE. A 2013 conviction for disorderly conduct. A FTA from this year. And nothing further to add. Nothing further to add.
All right, Ms. Anderson?
Yes, Your Honor. On July 21st of 2022, Mr. Mendoza went to the workplace of Maria Garcia, common spelling, and began causing a scene because he wanted money and food from her. She left her work to keep from causing any further disturbance at her job, and the two went together to her apartment. That address is 1940 Fisher, Fisher Road, Southeast in Fulton County. Once they got there, they continued to argue, at which point Mr. Mendoza slapped Ms. Garcia across her face and then pinned her down on the couch by her hair. Ms. Garcia attempted to get him off of her and reached around behind her to do so while face down. And at that time, Mr. Mendoza bit her hand, resulting in visible bite marks on her fingers. Ms. Garcia did identify Mr. Mendoza later as her ex-boyfriend, who she used to live with, and as the person who's assaulted her. A little bit more information, Your Honor, on Mr. Mendoza's criminal history. That 2013 disorderly conviction was amended from a battery, family violence out of DeKalb. Further, he has 2 open cases right now. One is a criminal trespass, giving a false name, and an obstruction charge from July 27th of this year. And then also, Your Honor, he has an open battery, family violence charge stemming from the 31st of July with the same victim, Miss Maria Garcia. And those will be the reasons for the state's bond recommendation, which is a $5,000 cash bond, Your Honor, and a stay away from 1940 Fisher Road. That's, again, Miss Garcia's home address. No contact with Miss Garcia, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a 1-day anger awareness.
Yes, Judge, this Mr. Mendoza, I spoke with him and he does have a job with Concrete Innovations in Tennessee. He does work in Atlanta. He's been working with them for about 6 years now. I would ask that he be given a surety bond on this case. He has no issues with appearing for court, and I'm not sure why this incident date from July is now, he's now being arrested on it, and he has been in touch with the court since then. So I'm not sure what the delay was, but I would just ask the court to consider that and give him a surety bond.
All right. I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Maria Garcia. I'm going to order stay away from 1940 Fisher Road Southeast. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I will order a 1-day anger awareness course. But definitely stay away from that incident location. And again, Mr. Mendoza, no contact, indirect or direct, or no phone calls, no emails, no social media, and no third parties to contact Ms. Garcia in any circumstances, all right? All right, that should conclude the order.
Position 9, Singletary.
This is case number 22 CR 007426J. Angel Romero Singletary. You're charged with 1 count of battery family violence, offense date October 28th, 2022. Free trial,
First arrest, recommended.
all right. Ms. Anderson?
Yes, Your Honor. On October 17th of this year, a dispute between Mr. Sims and the victim in this case, Shanton Foster, and Shanton is spelled Shanton, began inside of a vehicle due to Mr. Singletary telling a friend of theirs about a quarrel the two of them had. Mr. Foster got upset that Mr. Singletary was talking about that, and they got into a verbal altercation in the car. Once they arrived at the friend's apartment complex and exited the vehicle, Mr. Singletary swung at Mr. Foster and the physical altercation began. They both fell to the ground, at which time Mr. Singletary bit Mr. Foster. It was established that both Foster and Singletary had previously lived together and had been in a relationship. Due to the physical violence and testimonial evidence, Mr. Singletary was found to be the predominant aggressor and was taken into custody. The state's recommendation, Your Honor, is a $1,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond, and a 1-day anger awareness class.
All
Your
right.
Honor, this is Mr. Singletary's first ever arrest. He's 24 years old and he does work at the Avalon in Alpharetta. I would just request that he be given a signature bond and that the condition of no alcohol, drugs, or weapons not be implemented, as there's no allegation that alcohol, drugs, or weapons were involved in this incident.
All right, I will order a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, and that'll be for $3,000. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim. Was it Mr. Shanton Foster?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I'm going to order the 1-day anger awareness course with pretrial. All right, so that will be the order of the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge, going back to position 8, Mr. Sims, is he fully upgraded?
Okay. Yes, Ms. Anderson, you have an update for us?
As soon as it's not my turn, Your Honor, I can go into my emails and see what's going on. If I could just have just a few more minutes to do that.
Okay, we'll give you a few minutes to look at your email.
Thank you.
All right, Judge, we're
Position number 11 is next, please.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Position number 11 is next.
Okay.
That's my case also, Your Honor.
Oh,
Okay, we'll go to another case. I'm sorry. We'll go to position number 1. I'll
Thank
be with
you.
a minute. Oh, my God. Shoot. Position number 1.
okay. Thank you, Deputy. This is 22 CR 007420J. Sheila Atkins, you're charged at 1 count of simple battery. Offense date is 10/28/2022. pretrial.
15 cycles, all out of Texas. Last arrest January 16, 2017 for public intoxication. She has a 1998 conviction out of Texas for forgery, financial instrument. A 2003 conviction out of Texas for possession of marijuana, less than 2 ounces. A 2007 conviction out of Texas. I'm away sounding of the charge. A 2010 conviction out of Texas for criminal trespass. A 2013 conviction for a terroristic threat. A 2013 conviction, also going to waive the sounding. And nothing further.
All right. Mr. Segura,
This case occurred on October the 28th, 2022 at the Old Hen House located at 16 William H. Borders, Atlanta. In this case, we actually spoke with the victim, whose name is a Mr. Michael Anthony Kemp. Michael common spelling, Anthony common spelling, Kemp, K-E-M-P, in which he stated that he is a receptionist at this location, which is also where the defendant lives. He stated that other individuals had problems with the defendant, and this is not the first time he had issues with the defendant. He stated that he was trying to clock out of work and to go home. That's when the defendant started kissing at him, which he said that's how she normally is. And then when he had his back towards her, she picked up a slippery sign and hit him in the back of the head with it. At this point, he said he doesn't have any injuries and he actually doesn't mind the defendant going back to the incident location since she lives there. But he does want to have no contact with, wants her to have no contact with him. Because of this, we're asking for a $3,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness, not alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no further violent contact with Michael Anthony Kemp. Again, our concerns are that the defendant will try to make another attack on the victim, and because of this, we're asking for the surety bond. Thank you.
Ms. Johnston,
Yes, Judge. Miss Adkins has lived in the Atlanta area for more than 2 years now. She receives her income through SSI because she suffers from seizures. She takes 2 different medications for these seizures, and Ms. Adkins informed me that she has not been receiving these medications since she has been in the jail. That is a very high concern for her and for me as her attorney. And part of the reason why we would be asking for a signature bond in this case, she does not have the means to pay a surety bond. And due to her health issues, it is high risk for her to be remaining in the Fulton County Jail. I tried to get in touch with Ms. Adkins' caseworker. I was unable to. I'm going to keep trying to, but she does have a caseworker who she works with, who helps her stay with housing and receive her SSI benefits. Nothing further. Thank you.
all right. And she's how old again?
I'm showing 46.
Yes, sorry.
All right. I'm going to order the $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from, was it 2616 William H. Borders? I may have gotten the address incorrect.
It was 16 William H. Borders, Atlanta.
Okay, 16 William H. Borders in Atlanta. Stay away from Michael Kemp. I know for the contact rather, with Michael Kemp. Michael Anthony Kemp. And I'm gonna order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, how much was the bond again, please?
$3,000 surety bond.
Thank you. Position number 3 is next.
Okay. This is 22 CR 007421J, Jasmine Bingham, or Bingham. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. The charge is 1 count of simple battery, family violence, and the offense date is August 12th, 2022. Pretrial.
2 cycles. Last arrest October 19th of this year out of Hall County for a DUI. That case appears to be open. The first arrest was from 2019 for battery family violence out of Gwinnett, and that case was dismissed in 2020. Nothing further.
Okay. Mr. Segura.
This case occurred on August the 12th, 2022 at the Metro Point Lofts located at 800 West Marietta Street, Northwest Atlanta. In this case, officers got a response call from the victim, and when they arrived, they met the victim, a Miss Jasmine Reed Hunter. Jasmine, common spelling, Reed Hunter, Reed spelled R-E-I-D dash Hunter, Hunter, who stated that the defendant, who is the victim's ex-girlfriend, had lived together in the past 3 months and have just recently broken up at that point. At this point, the defendant came back to the location, who was moving things out, when the defendant attempted to strike Ms. Reed. At this point, Ms. Reed said she had no choice but to defend herself, and that's when she stated that the defendant punched her in the face multiple times. And she also told the officer that she sustained some back injury during this fight. The state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, no further contact with Jasmine Reed Hunter, and a stay away from the incident location. Our concerns are mostly due to the relationship with this Jasmine Reed Hunter, and that they're all exes, and there still could be some bond attention based on these facts. So because of that, we're asking for this surety bond. Thank you.
What was the amount, Mr. Segura?
3,000 surety.
3,000.
3,000.
Okay. And Ms. Johnston.
Yes, Judge. I'd like to first point out that this case is charged incorrectly. She did not live with Miss Reed Hunter. Miss Bingham did not, as is reflected on her address, which has been provided to the court. I saw it on the pretrial services report. She lives in Buford, Georgia. For work, Miss Bingham works at a valet in Midtown. Due to the distance between there and Buford, she's only able to work about 1 shift a week. So she does not have a lot of income coming in. She asserts that this incident was a situation of self-defense, that she was defending herself in a fight with Miss Reed Hunter, that Miss Reed Hunter started. Due to the fact that she does not have a lot of income, she does not have a lengthy criminal history, we would be asking for a signature bond. As she cannot afford a surety bond, she does not have the financial means to do it, and it would effectively be keeping her in jail.
Okay. And repeat what you said, or did you say about employment?
She works for a Midtown valet, a car valet thing in Midtown, and she also recently started the process of working for FedEx. She's at the very beginning of the hiring process, so it is important for her to get out so that she can go back to that. I forgot to mention that in my main argument. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. I'm going to order in this case the $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order a stay away from that 500 West Marietta Street Northwest. Stay away from that location. I'm assuming she does not live there.
It's actually 800.
Oh, 800, I'm sorry. 800 West Marietta Street, Northwest. So she's to stay away from that location and have no further contact with the Jasmine Reed. And was it a hyphenated name, Mr. Segura?
It is.
Jasmine Reed, was it Howard or?
Oh, it's Jasmine. Yeah. Jasmine's the first name and the last name is Reed Hunter.
Reed Hunter. Okay. All right, so no further contact with the victim in this case, Jasmine Reed Hunter. Anything else council need to take up?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Oh, can I say something really quick?
I'm sorry?
Could I mention also when I did show up to the
Miss
house?
Bingham, I'm going to
Okay.
stop you there because the judge has already set a bond and we're not here today to litigate the facts or determine your guilt. We're just here to set a bond and the judge has done that. So I would advise you not to say anything because the state is here too and they will be listening to everything you say and could hold it against you.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Position number 10 is next.
Your Honor, may I give you just a brief update on position 8, Sims?
Yes.
I think some of my teammates were waiting on me to complete some paperwork, which I did do. That's done now. I forwarded it over to whomever gets it next. So it's in process.
All right, is that you, Mr. Jordan?
I think she's someone in the SG office, Judge.
I
Oh,
think-
someone in your office and then they will send it over to Mr. Jordan.
Correct.
Okay, all right, so it's in process. Hold Mr. Lynch just in case, because if we don't, then I will set a bond and, keep it moving. If you don't mind holding just a little bit, we're almost done to make sure we get it.
Absolutely, Judge. I have one more case on the calendar as well.
Oh, good. Okay, all right, thank you.
And could you tell me the defendant's name that we're on, Your Honor? I apologize.
Oh, that's okay.
Number 10.
Okay.
We're on Destiny Stafford, case number 22 CR 007427B is in boy. And your charge is 1 count of simple battery, family violence. The offense date is October the 28th, 2022. Pre-trial.
First arrest recommended.
All right. And Ms. Anderson, this is your case?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
On October 22nd of this year, Ms. Stafford was seen on a camera as being the primary aggressor toward Mr. Jontay, spelled Johntay, Allen Hopkins, by biting and scratching him, causing visible marks and bruising on Mr. Hopkins's body. Mr. Hopkins was seen and treated by Grady EMS. He had bite marks all over his forearm, back, and legs. Mr. Hopkins and Ms. Stafford are in a relationship and do share a 6-month-old baby. The bond recommendation from the state, Your Honor, is a $2,000 surety bond with no contact with the victim, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a 1-day anger awareness class through pretrial, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Lynch?
Your Honor, we must ask the court for a signature bond in this case. I think it's very important. Ms. Sims, I believe, has no arrest as an adult. She's 21 years old. And as the state mentioned, she does have, I believe, a 5-month-old or 6-month-old baby child, son who's just born, who is in her custody and her custody alone. However, it is my understanding that at this point, she is with the mother of the alleged victim, and they are refusing to allow or to turn her over to Ms. Stafford's mother as she requested and she has the right to do. She is a lifelong Atlanta resident. She doesn't have a job right now, but she does have a job offer on the table. So she is hoping to get out. So for those reasons, Your Honor, we would ask that you set a signature bond. And even if you could, I'm not sure if you can go ahead and make an order for the sheriff to assist her in retrieving her child, because she'll need to do that. She certainly doesn't want to have any additional issues, but she does need to collect her child, who has a doctor's appointment coming up. I believe the state mentioned that some of this incident was caught on camera, but what was not caught on camera was what led up to this incident. Ms. Stafford does have allegations that she has made against the alleged victim in this case of domestic violence, and alleges or asserts that before that camera footage picked up what had happened, there was abuse that she suffered at his hands. And so with all that, Your Honor, we would just ask that you take into consideration her age, her lack of a criminal history, her ties to the community. She's a lifelong Atlanta resident, and go with the recommendation and give her a signature bond, Your Honor.
Your Honor, may I add one thing further?
Yes,
I just got a chat message that the victim is on the Zoom.
yes, I see him.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Lynch, were you finished? And then I'll go to the victim.
Sure.
Okay. Mr. Hopkins, do you wish to address the court today?
Yes.
All right, I'll need to swear you in first. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to say to me today?
I would like to say that also I wanted to see if she can get a signature bond as well. And the baby is currently in my custody. My son has not been to my mother's house, and her mother did call me, but her mother didn't call me asking for the child. She was saying other things that I would not be explaining. But she never asked for the child, not one time. And we have text messages and calls. But Destiny is a wonderful mother. She does everything that she can for our son, and it's no mile that she'll take for our son. So I know it might seem bad, but people have a rough patch and a rough day sometimes, and that's just what that type of day was. And I didn't want to press no charges against her, and I didn't even want to see her get arrested. But I would like for her to come home because my son misses her, and I know that she misses him, and this is probably the longest time that she's ever been away from our son.
Okay, are you in fear of Ms. Stafford?
No, not at all. Me and Miss Stafford, we have been living together since we have started a relationship. It's almost been 3 years now. We know each other. It was a bad day for us.
Okay, and so you all will continue to live together. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, that's it. That's only if that's up to her. I'm comfortable with her choosing her own decision, because she is the mother of the child, and I am okay with her picking and choosing if she does or not.
Okay, so do you all live in an apartment or a home?
We live in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Okay, whose name's on the lease?
Currently, my name is on the lease, and I had got it, and I was going to put her name and our child on the lease as well.
You said, I was trying to make sure I understood you. You said her name is not or is on the lease?
Her name is not on the lease at the moment because I currently got it a few days ago, and I was trying to prep myself because I was going to put her and my son on the lease currently.
Well, sometimes, when we have these incidents, I try to make sure again that you're going to be safe and obviously that your child will be safe. You don't want any more incidents. You don't want the police having to come back out.
No, not at all.
And we sometimes say we need a cooling down period so that everyone is back on board and back together and hopefully getting some help for whatever issues may be there. Sometimes we don't want to kind of send you back into the firestorm that has not calmed down yet. And the two of you are not married?
Oh, not currently, not yet.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give Ms. Stafford a signature bond. I understand the baby's very small.
Yes.
I'm hoping that by allowing you all to go back together, that there will be no further violent
No,
contact.
ma'am.
you.
Not at all. She's a
Well,
wonderful
that's you
person.
talking. I know that Ms. Stafford cannot speak at the moment. Is not wise that she do that. She's represented by counsel, but I'm just making sure that whatever led up to that will be addressed and taken care of, and that hopefully you and Ms. Stafford can get along and raise your child. So I'm going to not require the stay away. I'm going to order no further violent contact, and that will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order Ms. Stafford to take a one-day anger awareness course through pretrial. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons other than any prescriptions prescribed to her by a physician. And I guess that will be it. And I'm assuming if you all are going to be back together, that she will obviously get her baby back, okay? And be
Of course.
able to
I was going
raise
to
her
also
child.
ask, because I know that it's a delay over there in Rice Creek, Fulton County Jail, because by her getting the signature, I know that that's immediate release. So I was going to ask, do you know what the timing will be? Because I will be there, me and my son will be there
Nope,
to
you
meet
all
her.
will probably have to wait. I have no control over that. The jail has their processing procedures in place that I do not control. And I think they tell you 24 hours. Mr. Jordan or Mr. Lynch, you all know better than me. It's unfortunate, it could be at 2 a.m. The baby will be asleep somewhere, but I don't think that they give you any certain times, right, Mr. Lynch or Mr. Jordan?
That's my understanding, but it seems to have usually take place within 24 hours, but I'm not an expert.
Yeah, unfortunately, you might have to wait for a phone call, and I don't know how far you live from the jail, or maybe see if you can get in touch with anyone down there just to see, since you do have a small baby with you.
No, it'll be okay. I'm only 10 minutes away.
Oh, so you close? Okay. If you're close by, then you may want to wait for her call so that you maybe are not sitting out there in the car forever.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to both of you. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Have a great day.
All right. You too.
Position number 11.
All right. This is 22 CR 007428J Chantrese Stanley. You're charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. The offense date is October 28th, 2022. Pretrial.
First arrest recommended.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
Yes, Your Honor. The state doesn't have a ton of information on this case. It appears that on October 23rd, 28th, 2022, the defendant threw an electronic tablet at the victim, Danielle, spelled DANYUEL, Austin, in front of their 1-year-old son. As pretrial stated, Your Honor, this defendant does not have any history, so therefore the state is recommending a $1,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a 1-day anger awareness class.
Okay. All right, Ms. Holly?
Yes, Your Honor. As Ms. Anderson stated, Ms. Stanley does not have any adult criminal history. She is 29 years old and she does live in Covington. She absolutely would like the stay away order in place. And she does have a 1-year-old son, Jace, who she does care for. With that being said, she does not work because she has been raising her son. We would ask for a signature bond so that she can get back out and take care of him.
And the relationship to her and the victim is what again?
They are ex-romantic partners.
And they do live together or they don't?
They do not live together anymore.
Not. Okay. All right. I'm going to order a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order no further contact with, is it Daniela Austin? No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. 1-day anger awareness course. And I guess that's it, because there was no stay away because they don't reside together. Okay. gotcha.
Correct.
All right. And I think that will conclude this order. Anything else from council?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank
It was
you.
a $1,000 signature bond.
No, $2,000 signature bond.
$2,000 signature bond. Appreciate you.
Uh-huh.
All right, back to position number 8.
Okay.
Position 8. Get your drink.
Do we have anything?
I haven't received anything further, Your Honor. I've completed my portion as far as I believe.
What I'm going to do, and Mr. Jordan, in this case, would I go ahead and set a bond? To see if we get the transfer order. Mr. Jordan?
Sure.
I was saying, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and set a bond since we don't have a transfer order.
Okay. Ready.
Yeah. And I was just making sure you were checking your email that you didn't have anything yet.
Oh, let's see real quick.
Okay.
No, Judge, I haven't received anything.
Okay. All right. And so I have, did pretrial give me a summary? I didn't write down any notes. I want to say they didn't, did they? Pretrial?
No.
Okay.
No.
What do you have on position 8, which is Christopher Sims, 22 CR 007431A?
23 cycles. Last arrest was July 10th, 2021, out of in Union City for battery, pointing or aiming a gun or pistol at another and criminal trespass. There's no disposition listed, so that case appears to be open. He appears to have an open case for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, driving expired or no license plate or decal, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession of a Schedule I controlled substance, and possession of a firearm or a knife during the commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies. That case number is 22 SC 182770. He has 1 FTA from 2020. He has a 2021 conviction for possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, a 2014 conviction for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, a 2001 conviction for burglary. He has a 2021 conviction for possession of marijuana less than an ounce, a 2013 conviction for driving while license suspended or revoked, and possession of marijuana less than an ounce, a 2011 conviction for driving while license suspended or revoked, a 2011 conviction for simple battery, and a 2009 conviction for driving while license suspended or revoked, and nothing further. He did receive a $20,000 split bond in felony this morning on the cases they heard in felony.
Okay. All right, Mr. Lynch.
Your Honor, I'm not sure, but I think the first case she mentioned may be the instant case that we're dealing with today.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
And so my understanding is that he didn't receive notice to appear for court. He may have FTA'd on this case. I'm not sure if the court's able to see that, but we would ask, Mr. Sims is 42 years old. He does have his own pressure washing business. I believe he's a lifelong Atlanta resident. We would just ask that the court set a reasonable bond or allow his original bond to remain in place on these cases so that he can try to bond out and deal with the other matter.
What's the original bond?
I'm sorry, I'm not able to see, Judge.
Mr. Jordan, are you able to see? You're still muted.
I was just checking the jail screen. So he doesn't have any bond listed on these charges. They were new electronic warrant arrests, but he does have a fade to appear on another case, which he may be confusing with this case.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll check the FTA case that he has. But this is a new arrest from electronic warrants. And he has a bench warrant arrest on case. This is Superior Court bench warrant arrest, case 22 SC 182770. So he may be confusing this case with the other case.
Okay. All
Judge,
right.
excuse me.
Go ahead.
If that is correct, Your Honor, we would ask that you set reasonable bonds on these misdemeanor cases. I believe we would ask for that considering his ties to the community and everything else that we mentioned.
Okay. On the criminal trespass, I will give him a $2,000 surety bond. On pointing or aiming a gun or a pistol at another, I'll give him a $5,000 surety bond. And on the battery substantial physical harm, I will give him a $3,000 surety bond. So that'll be a total of $10,000 surety bond. And I will order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And in this case, do we know, Ms. Anderson, is there going to be a stay away or a particular victim to have no further contact with?
It doesn't appear so, Your Honor. This looks like this particular case arose from an auto accident.
Okay.
And I think it may have been a single car auto accident.
Okay. All right. Well, I would just order that $10,000 surety bond. At this point, we'll go with that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Position number 6, was it? Position number 6 bonded out.
Oh, 6 bonded out, okay. Is that all that we have today?
That should be every.
All right, you all have a good afternoon. We'll hold everyone else to reconcile with Mr. Jordan. Yeah.
Have a good day, Judge. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lynn.
Thank you, Your
Thank you,
Honor.
Ms. Lynn.
Thank you, everyone.
Judge.
Have a good Saturday.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Position 1 was a $3,000 surety bond reset SAP. Position 2
3 or
was a
5?
Position 1.
Oh, position 1, I'm sorry, it's 3, yes.
Position 2 was a $5,000 cash bond reset SAP. Position 3 was a $3,000 surety bond reset SAP. Position 4 was a $4,000 surety bond reset SAP. Position 5 was a $5,000 surety bond reset SAP. Position 6 is reset further notice. Position 7 is a $5,000 surety bond reset SAP. Position 8 is a $10,000 surety bond reset SAP. Position 9 is a $3,000 sign-on bond pretrial. Position 10 is a $3,000 sign-on bond pretrial. Position 11 is a $2,000 sign-on bond pretrial. Position 12 is a $3,000 sign-on bond pretrial. Position 13 is a $4,000 sign-on bond pretrial. And the add-on calendar was a $5,000 sign-on bond through the jail.
Yeah, everybody except.
Everybody left us, Judge.
Sure. I know, I just looked up and said, wait a minute. They ran out of there
Mr.
today.
Segura was the
Thank you,
only one
Mr.
stuck around.
Segura. Okay, at least one person liked us to stay, right?
Right.
All right, thank you, no worries. Have a good weekend.
Have
You too,
good
Judge.
weekend,
I'll
everyone.
clean those orders soon.
Yeah, all right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.